You know, for most people, the Christmas tree means only one thing, and it's quite festive. For us Milanisti though, it means something totally different. It reminds us of a different time, better times, and those times were quite festive too. And in case you haven't guessed it yet, we're talking about the famous Christmas tree formation that Carlo Ancelotti used at the time. Due to his success, the Christmas tree is forever associated with Carlo Ancelotti, but also to Terry Venables at England in the mid-90s, perhaps for the lack of his success. For those of you that like numbers, we're talking about the 4-3-2-1 formation, which kinda looks like a Christmas tree when put together. That being said, it's not a frequently used formation, and the Christmas tree certainly comes with its own host of problems. But the question is, what are the issues with the Christmas tree formation, and what made it work so brilliantly for Carlo Ancelotti? Well, stick around to find out. Right, so one thing you need to know about the Christmas tree formation is that it was first and foremost a solution to a problem, rather than a perfectly planned formula to be used for a whole season. To know the context behind it, we need to go back, way back to the mid-2000s, when Milan won the league title in 2004 and went all the way to the final in the Champions League against Liverpool in 2005. That one really hurt, by the way. That being said, it was a brilliant team, one that had Shevchenko and usually Pippo Inzaghi when he was fit, in front of Kaká in the 4-3-1-2 formation. Overall, life wasn't too bad, but there was something brewing on the horizon. In summer 2006, Andrei Shevchenko handed in a transfer request and was sold to Chelsea. This one honestly broke my heart, as Shevchenko was one of my all-time favorite Milan players. We started our league with a 2-1 win over Lazio, with Ricardo Oliveira scoring for us, a striker that was supposed to replace Shevchenko. But as the season went on, our star signing, Ricardo Oliveira, was also dealing with the stress of his kidnapped sister, and you could see it affecting his season as well. And that left us with two other strikers who couldn't really play alongside each other. Ancelotti tried to shoehorn Kaká in that second striker role, with Seedorf playing in that classic number 10 role. Honestly, the results were quite frankly hot and cold. There wasn't any consistency in the results, but it all started to click when Ancelotti dropped Kaká a little bit deeper, where he could better use his pace and elegance on the ball. Because why have one number 10 if you can have two? Right? Ancelotti paired Kaká and Seedorf to devastating effect during that season, and it worked brilliantly well. And a shining example of it was when Milan outplayed Manchester United in San Siro, when they both scored in a 3-0 win to reach the Champions League final. But it wasn't just due to Kaká and Seedorf, there was a whole cast of a team that made it work. You see, in the Christmas tree formation, more than any other tactic, it's important to have the right players for the right roles. It needs a midfield line that counterbalances with the two playmakers on top. And because it's a very narrow formula, you need both fullbacks to be attack-minded, which exposes your defense line quite frequently, which means you need a watertight defense line to make this work. Otherwise, it's very easy to be left exposed with this tactic. After all, what's a Christmas tree without a few presents underneath it? Speaking of which, at the heart of Milan's defense stood two strong pillars of Italian football. Honestly, if Michelangelo crafted two defenders out of the finest Italian marble, he would have made Paolo Maldini and Alessandro Nesta. On the right side, you had an aging yet effective Cafu, who's one of the best right backs in the history. His capacity to get up and down was crucial given Milan's lack of wingers in the formation, and he was helped by the lesser-known Marek Jankulovski on the other side. In front of the defense line was the brilliance of a peak Andrea Pirlo dictating the tempo, who was protected by the hustle of Gattuso and Ambrosini. Higher up, the pace and the elegance of Kaká was matched by the intelligence of Clarence Seedorf. You gotta admit, it's been a good Christmas tree so far, but a star on top of the tree wouldn't be too bad, would it? Ancelotti had to choose between the eternally offside Pippo Inzaghi and Ronaldo, the original of course, who arrived in January from Real Madrid. More often than not, he went with Pippo Inzaghi, as Ronaldo was cup-tied for the Champions League. Honestly, he had the technique of a 10-year-old child, but boy was he effective. This was a man who whispered to the goal. This was the formation that was used to conquer Europe in 2007 after a very turbulent summer earlier. The team had strength, speed, skill, and structure, and used them to perfection in the Christmas tree formation. The Christmas tree was also used by France to win the World Cup in '98, with Zidane and Djorkaeff as playmakers. It was also used by Terry Venables for England in the mid-90s, although it didn't have the success of Ancelotti with it. Eventually, the Christmas tree formation slowly faded away, and was gradually replaced by a more balanced 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. There's a trend of a high-pressing, attack-minded football these these days, and with that comes the need to use the width of the pitch as efficiently as possible. That being said, the Christmas tree leaves a long-lasting legacy, and who knows, maybe it can come back to the mainstream once again. I'm Football Drawn, and I'll be making similar content for Sempre Milan. I also do this kind of content on my own channel as well. If you like this one, feel free to visit my channel in the description. Thanks for watching, and Forza Milan!